Hello everyone, welcome to Module 3, Session 3, Understanding Emphasis as a Principle of Design. So, in a previous session, we have talked about balance. And before trying to address emphasis, I would just like to recall about balance. In balance, we have learned about what are the two variations of balance, that is symmetrical balance and asymmetrical balance. We have also tried to understand how balance is also associated in adjusting the visual weight in a composition. Apart from that, we have also seen how photographers use rule of third to create asymmetrical balance. We have also went through how digital platform and various other different print and publication uses balance to comprehend or to process images, meaning to the users. So now we'll talk about emphasis in session 3. Emphasis in design is the principle that directs attention to specific elements, creating a visual hierarchy that guides the viewer's eye. By using contrast, color, size, or placement, designer establish focal point that highlight the importance of parts of a composition. This approach ensures clarity and focus, helping viewers engage with the design in a purposeful way. Without emphasis, a design can appear cluttered or confusing, but with it, the composition becomes both impactful and memorable. Here, you can see in the left portion of this slide, there is an image, right? And this image is consisted of a triangle, rhombus, square, and a circle, right? So here your emphasis is towards the upper side of the image. You may say how it's happening. The primary goal here is how the elements are associated with this. You can sense a gradual direction or a movement from the lower section of the image towards the upper section of this image. And this is attained by how the elements are arranged in that particular composition. So when we talk about focal point, so gradually from the lower portion, the emphasis is addressed towards the upper portion of the image. Here again, you can see three triangles pointing towards the central image, right? In addition to repetition, variety, rhythm, balance, artists commonly unify their design to create a single focal point. The area towards which the viewer's eyes is more compellingly drawn. If a design has no focal point, drawing attention towards inward, it may seem to fall apart, making it difficult for the viewer to organize what's going on. Here in this image, you can clearly see because of the navigation of the triangles, your eyes automatically focuses on the central point of this composition. There are many techniques to draw attention to a portion of design. In this image, you can clearly see there are two major elements, that is the word hi and hello. Here you can see how hi the word is smaller compared to the word hello. The point size of hello is much larger compared to the hi. But you can see the repetition of hi in a different uh, arrangement. And because of such kind of arrangement, there is a gradual flow towards the overall word hello. So here the emphasis is towards the word hello within this square. And this is happening because of the repetitive elements which is gradually arranged in such a way that the word hello is emphasized by the end. Another example here, you can clearly see the alphabet E, which is capital in nature, and there are variety of typeface, the stroke thickness of the alphabet E is varied. So you can see there is a bolder version of E and a thinner version of E. But the point size of the thinner version is comparatively much larger than the bolder version. So when you see the bold E, you can see how the overall E is cluttered in one segment and it's gradually projected towards the larger E. And this is where the idea of emphasis is being prevailed when you see the larger E. So your eyes always emphasizes on the larger E. This is another example where the abstract image has been utilized to express the idea of emphasis. Here you can clearly see there is a gradual increase of the stroke thickness of this line towards the end. And you can see a negative space circle in this position. Now, when we talk about emphasis, here your eyes automatically falls in the negative space of the circle. And this is happening because how the shape has been arranged in this dense area. Yes, so I hope most of you might know about Raja Ravi Verma. So this is one of his famous painting of Shakuntala. Here, if you see this painting, Sakuntala is one of the famous work which he have done as a part of his artistic expression. In this image, you can see Sakuntala is the one which captured a poignant moment from the ancient Indian epic Mahabharata. In this scene, you can see Sakuntala, a beautiful sage daughter, is depicted pretending to remove a thorn from her foot while actually looking back longingly to catch a glimpse of her love, King Dushyanta. Now you can see how the idea of emphasis is playing an important role here. You can sense the emotion of this character, Sakuntala, clearly with the facial expression which Raja Ravi Verma has tried to express. Apart from that, you can see how posture is quite different from the rest of the characters. And this is happening because the character is trying to show that she is trying to pluck a thorn from her foot. Another interesting part which you can see the colors. Here you can see a very different set of colors comparing to the rest of the characters. And the light, how using colors, how the idea of light has been depicted on this particular character. Along with that, if you can see a sense of perspective has been projected towards this image, right? If you can create a line, you can sense a sense of perspective to this image, for which the proportion of this character seems to be bigger among the rest of it. So this is a very interesting representation where the emphasis has been attained using different elements like emotion, posture, color, light, and proportion. For those of you who don't know about Raja Ravi Verma, I would request you to check it over the internet. And he is one of the India's iconic painter known for bringing European technique to Indian art. He has bridged traditional Indian themes with realistic portrait, incorporating elements like perspective, shading, and anatomy, which I have talked in this work. So my recommendation is for you to go check his work and understand the sensitivity towards expressing the emotion. This is another example where the idea of emphasis has been projected. You can clearly see there are 4 stuffed toys, but because of the proportion, the emphasis towards the larger toy is higher. And another important thing which you can highlight clearly here is the use of different colors. So the lower portion toys have a different set of colors compared to the larger toy. Apart from that, because of the arrangement, you can sense a hierarchy in the overall compositions, right? And also the emphasis is attained because of the material which is associated to it. So in the lower portion, you can clearly see the use of furry elements, right, as a part of the representation. But here you can see the toy has been woven. So here now the emphasis becomes this toy which is larger in shape. Now this is very important because when we talk about visual design, somewhere or the other you will have to encounter text as a part of your representation. So when you see this work, when you see this picture, you can clearly identify how emphasis has been created using capital letters and bold fonts. Here, because of the capital letter, the word Clarendons gets emphasized. Apart from that, because of the bold nature, you can see some of the words to get emphasized before reading the overall paragraph. So emphasis in typography helps to direct the viewer attention to more important, and it creates visual hierarchy. This is another interesting layout which is done by Jan Sikol. So Jan Sikol is a German typographer who have done multiple works in terms of print and publication. And I would recommend to go through his work. That will definitely help you in guiding you in terms of using grids as a part of typography and choice of typefaces in a composition. And here you can see how he has composed the overall layout using bold lines. You can see here a bold lines, right? And the use of typeface towards it, adjacent to it. And because of that, this portion of the book get emphasized more. And it also has a sense of T, which is the anatomy of T, right, in alphabet. And you can clearly identify that. And this is how he has tried to explore the concept of emphasis. So if you ask me who was Jan Sikol, as I said, he was a German typographer who was heavily influenced by the Bauhaus. I'm pretty sure you will learn about Bauhaus in the upcoming session, which is a revolutionary movement happened in the world of design. And he was also influenced with the idea of these styles movement, and I'm pretty sure you will also get to learn about that in the upcoming session. So with these influences, he used multiple way to emphasize functional and geometric design in his composition. So this is a very interesting work which was done in 1925, and today still most of the designers take inspiration to create such kind of arrangement using grids and layout systems. Coming back to the idea of digital space. So when you see this is a website screenshot which is taken recently, as IIT Hyderabad will host this event in the coming year of 2025. So you can clearly see the word serve desk in the center of this layout. And this is also a very interesting case how emphasis was given on the event name rather than the overall activities which will happen at that time. So here you can clearly see the central banner which addresses the event name in the center portion of this layout. Apart from that, you can clearly see the name of the event, which is Service Design and Innovation Conference, Hyderabad, India, right? And the organization associated to it to be in a together representation. So here you can see the logo of IIT Hyderabad, TCS Research, which is the involved organization with this conference, and Department of Design of IIT Hyderabad. Apart from that, if you see, the date is been also part of this composition. So if you want to know the event, definitely the date is very important in understanding when the event is going to happen. So with that context, primarily with the name of this event, the date is also being utilized such that people are aware about when the event is happening. Apart from that, if you see in the lower section, you can see the important dates which is associated to that event and what are the things which are going to happen. So this is a very well thought, well organized structure where you can sense an hierarchy, and also because of hierarchy, the sense of emphasis has been projected. Also, along with that, you can see the elements which are associated to the brand. So whenever you see this element, somewhere or the other, you will recall this particular event name. So with this, we are concluding this session. But before conclusion, we would like to recap what we have learned till now. Emphasis is a very crucial principle in design, directing viewers' attention to most important part of a composition. It guides the viewer eyes and establishes a clear visual hierarchy, ensuring the main message or focal point stands out. As you can see in our past example, which we have tried to decipher and understand, you can clearly see how repetition in emphasis is playing a role and how contrasting elements are creating emphasis in their composition. And apart from that, size, positioning also helps to create emphasis. So in the upcoming days, I'm pretty sure if you are assigned to create some kind of emphasis in your composition, you will definitely play with the idea of contrast, color, size and positioning while you try to address it. So emphasis also helps the overall viewer to interpret and engage with the content effectively. Incorporating emphasis involves the overall aesthetic and functionality of a design. It breaks the monotony, creates dynamic flow, and helps balance elements, which leads to more memorable and impactful design. With this, thank you for your time. I hope you all had got some idea about the importance of emphasis as a design principle and how it can be achieved in the visual communication. We'll end this session here and we'll meet in our next session where we will talk about variety in principles of design. Goodbye.